Spider-Man into the Arrowverse. Let's talk about it. Alright, let's go. Alright, now for reals. Okay, so Spider-Man into the Arrowverse. Honestly, going into this movie, I didn't really know what to expect. I heard a lot of good things about it. When I first saw the preview for it coming out, I kind of thought they've already done this on the Ultimate Spider-Man animated TV show, so I was a little surprised to see that they were doing the same thing on the big screen, which is fine, but what were they going to bring that was new? And essentially this is Miles Morales' origin story, which I didn't know a lot about going into this. I just knew he was another Spider-Man from a different universe, from, I believe, Puerto Rican and African American descent, obviously on the younger side. But yeah, I didn't know a lot about him going into this movie. Essentially, when you walk out of this movie, you're rooting for him and almost a new Spider-Man for a new generation. And maybe I'm a little late to this party, but yeah, I thought it was really good. Visually, it was like awesome. I would say that it's second in comically or comic book aesthetic like movies to Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Obviously this is animation, but just the look that they went throughout the film, the form of animation that they went for, the frame rate, the pop-up thought bubbles, people's speech, and occasionally depending on the mood, it looked really great. I would say that there's certain times where the background and sometimes even the foreground, whatever was at the point of focus, kind of had like a blurred effect to it. While that looks cool, a lot of the times it got really almost dizzying, like kind of you were watching a 3D movie without the glasses. That's all I can say that's negative really about the aesthetics. Everything looked awesome, but the movie itself is dealing with Miles Morales and the Kingpin kind of creates this machine to collide different universes in order to get something. I won't reveal that. If you want to go see it, go right ahead and you can find that out for yourself. But in consequence to that, multiple Spider-Mans from different universes, Spider-Man and, in other words, there's Spider-Man Noir, there's Spider-Pig, as you've seen from the trailers. They get sucked into Miles Morales' world, and they have to get themselves back to their world before they essentially die because they're not in the right universe. So essentially you have an original Spider-Man in Miles Morales' universe, whatever this universe is. And I'm not going to give too much away, but eventually he has to step up, he gets his own powers, and while basically 70% of the movie is him learning how to be his own Spider-Man. And with the help of the Peter Parker from a different universe, and Spider-Gwen and Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Pig, they all kind of like help him along in their own certain way. But yeah, like Spider-Man lore is probably one of the best known fictional universes that people in the mainstream culture who aren't comic fans will know. Mary Jane Watson, the Green Goblin, Spider-Man, Venom, it's all part of the same lore. So when you see certain characters like Green Goblin and Kingpin and Scorpion portrayed in Miles Morales' universe, it's kind of like you're seeing another take on a villain that you've known and you've seen a certain way. And when you see them, the Green Goblin in this one, he's like a gigantic, like 20-foot with wings, and maybe that's been portrayed in the comics that I don't know of, but that was first for me. And I thought that was really cool to see certain characters being portrayed in a different way, but essentially the same essence. I didn't even know that there was this many people in this movie. Haley Steinfeld, Mahershala Ali, Nicolas Cage is even the voice of Spider-Man Noir, which I did not see. I didn't know that there was this many people in this movie, at least as a voice actor. And when you're in there and you're listening to people's voices and you're like, oh, I know that voice, and you don't realize like, oh wow, there's a lot of people in this movie. And yeah, I thought it was a really pleasant surprise. I think that Sony should take note of the success that they're having with this, because going into this at least months ago when they announced it, I honestly did not have any interest in going and watching this. And not to say that it's bad, it didn't seem like something that I had to go see at least first in line. Like maybe going and renting it or seeing it when it came out on Netflix, but I heard great things from different people, and so when I go into that movie, you know, expecting it to be visually pleasing, um, and overall a good movie, but I walked out like very impressed. There were certain times I'm just like, oh, there's the little kid portion of this movie, or oh, you know, the animation portion of this movie is showing. Not the whole thing is animation, but you know, the mood and themes of an animation movie. But other than that, like it was really good. You know, Sony keeps trying to make, you know, their own universe and their own properties because they own the rights. And you know, Venom came out and it wasn't good. There are certain parts it's just like, oh, that was cool, or that was cool. Overall, it falls flat. And so when Sony Animation Group can step in and make something like this, I don't know why they don't take more advantage of it. I hope that they can. I mean, it obviously sets up for a sequel, so I hope that they take this in a good direction because they can make their own like cinematic universe animation style, kind of like how DC does with theirs. Animation. DC animation movies or animated films are way better than like the DC extended universe. And like all they have to do is, I mean, I'm not saying they have to put all their eggs in one basket, but this was amazing. The music was great. It was updated for like a newer audience. The character itself, Miles Morales, is you know culturally diverse, and I feel more relatable than you know at least the old school Spider-Man. Like I know Spider-Man movies come out and they change the tone and the era, but I mean the character overall is more ethnically diverse, and for today's generation and today's America at least, because so many people come from different backgrounds. So I hope that they take advantage of this, and I hope that they, you know, put out better products just like this. There is a Stan Lee cameo. I don't know if this one or Infinity War will be the last one, at least chronologically, when it comes to when he filmed it. There is a mid-credit scene that honors him and Steve Ditko for bringing Spider-Man to life. Also, I know that we're kind of spoiled when it comes to our portrayals of Kingpin because of Netflix's Daredevil and Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. And while there is a lot of depth, angst almost to Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, I will say that this Kingpin is brutal. He's like literally in some scenes takes up the entire frame, and it's like this big hulking thing with like a head in the middle, and he's brutal. And they do give some of his backstory as to why he's doing this, but like I don't know, like I thought he was like, I know they give a knock on some villains and even some people are giving a knock on this Kingpin, but like he was brutal, and the things that he does to, you know, Miles and Peter and you know others, and how he affects people in this universe, even his own henchmen. Like I thought that was portrayed great, and the way he was drawn was great, as well as Scorpion and you know the Doc Ock from Miles's universe. But like I said, 70% of the movie is kind of like his origin. He's trying to figure out what he does. I didn't even know Miles Morales' Spider-Man can turn invisible and like shock people. Didn't even know that going into this. So you learn a lot about a new character that hopefully will have a place in, you know, future Sony animation, maybe even in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If they see the feedback that they're getting from this movie and how positive it is, it's going to be great. And I don't know if I mentioned this in the beginning. Phil Lord is one of the writers. He was also heavily involved in the Lego movie. Was going to be one of the original directors of the Han Solo movie. Almost everything he touches is great. The humor is great. It's clean if you want to go take your kids. But funny, entertaining. I was impressed. Alright, fellow Phantoms, I'm Andy. I hope you guys come back next time. Please subscribe. Put the notification bell if you guys want to check it out for next time. I will consistently put these videos up. If you have suggestions on movies coming out that I might not know of or that you want to see, go ahead and leave those in the comments, and I will do my best to see those and review it promptly. Anyways, thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Later, guys.